dancing, and it just gave me freedom. Like all my problems, such a cliche to say, but all my problems just disappeared, and that's why people go out. It's an escape. And I think being a teenager, I really needed that escape. And music was that escape and that vessel that gave me freedom. It gave me a connection to something else rather than, you know, where I was at. I just remember the first time I heard techno, and it was probably about a year into already having my turntables and going to some house clubs, and I didn't know what the music was. It was just, I was just like, what is this? Like, I've not heard anything like this. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. The tracks were individual, but they were all crazy, and there was all stuff going on, and you know, and there was all these rises. I was going up and down and left and right, and it just twisted my head so much, and I remember just losing complete control. And then, yeah, that's when I really fell in love with techno music. It's just this belonging to something else. For me, I think when I'm making a track, like I said, I get into the loop or the groove. At some point, I just feel ready to get out of it. I'm like, okay, all the parts are here now to make the track. But there's no specific time where I'm like, okay, I'm just going to make a groove now. Then I'm going to arrange. It's just as and when I feel ready for it. Oh, there's, yeah, two different things that I do. So with Tractor, it's a DJ set, and then I have a really small modular setup. And that's like with one voice and clap and some hi-hats. If I play live, I play with Ableton and with the modular. So I can still throw in a kick, throw it out, throw in this loop or this hi-hat and just have full control over it. With the BeatStep Pro, the way that I have it in my live and my DJ setup is it's just, for the DJ set, it's like one voice, one oscillator, and a clap and a hi-hat. So I don't use all of the drum CVs out, but I've used 3 of them. And so we start with the kick. A little bit of wave shaper on the kick just to give it a bit of a gabba feel. And then I also have a clap. Have the hat, which the hat isn't actually being controlled from here. Well, it is in a way, so we've got the clock out. So the clock out is going into the modular, and then it goes into another sequencer, which then sequences the hats. And the reason I use this one is because the touch of the dial can increase it and decrease it. So it's like having another sequencer. I could do it here as well, but I think it could be, I think it's really versatile. So I definitely think it's a performance thing, but piece for me, that's generally how I use it performance-wise. But I think with the capabilities, you know, people are going to want to use this in a studio. Like if you're recording patterns or you within a track and you want it to do different things, and then you can just clear the patterns. You can change the pattern. So you can make breakdowns and make the sequence a little bit more interesting for people if they're recording a full track as well. So it can be for both. You know, now I'm in a headspace where I really want the sounds to breathe and to get these super lovely, like textured sounds. You know, that's another level for me, like to really tame it. At the minute, it's still pretty raw and aggressive. But I kind of like that anyway. Going into modular, it just pushed me out of a zone of like my comfort zone of like, you know, having a synth and just, you know, a few parameters and that does that does this. But actually having a modular synth, it has helped me understand the process a lot more and understand what I'm doing. Like, you know, you do this, it's going to do this and have this effect. And I think it gave me that level of understanding a lot more. I think the frustration part, when you make music, you can get really frustrated and, you know, you want to get better, but it takes a long time, and it's a slow process, really. And you get better, but you don't realise you're getting better, or the sound's getting better. And sometimes I can just be blocked. You know, like the ideas aren't coming, I'm not creative, or I'm like falling back on the same things that I always do. And that can be really frustrating. And the challenge really is to be less hard on yourself. One of the biggest tips I can give any, you know, up and coming producer is just finish something. Because a lot of producers don't finish anything, and it takes them such a long time, or they always get to the same place where they're stuck, and then they bench that one, start something else. You can even have time away from the studio and then come back and then create something, and then it sounds better than anything else that you've done. And even having some time away from the studio is beneficial sound-wise. I think I get inspiration in many different ways. It can be like a really amazing weekend where everything just seems to work and you're in the flow state, and you know you just keep going. And then, you know, I can listen to other people's music and I'm like, wow, how did they do that? Like it is super inspiring, and you know, and it humbles you into the fact that you're not there where you want to be. And I don't think you will ever be where you want to be in your own head, but it's like you just know that you're going to get better, and the experience has shown me that you do get better, and it is just time and how much you put into it.